Now, what could we expect for The Walking Dead in 2026? So in today's video, I'm just going to be breaking down and theorizing so far what we know what's going to happen to The Walking Dead universe in 2026 and what to expect in terms of announcements during the year. So please stay tuned. And now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I've been on a very long hiatus, right? It's almost been like a month now. And the explanation for that is that I've been out of the city for quite a while, right? For like a week and a half. And then when I came back, I got very sick. So that's the reason why I wasn't able to record, because I couldn't even talk. And because of that, the YouTube algorithm is absolutely going to destroy this video, and not much traction is going to be on this video. So I'd like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton, and it will get more eyes back onto the channel. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, first of all, I wanted to discuss about Daryl Dixon Season 4, right? I just want to talk about the stuff that we know so far, and that's realistically Daryl Dixon Season 4 and Dead City Season 3. So let's talk about Daryl Dixon Season 4. And recently, for the Walking Dead universe, right, it's been very quiet when it comes to news and stuff like that. I mean, we got like a teaser for Season 4 back in, I believe, October, right? It's been a few months, and I didn't really break it down because I didn't really think it was that interesting. But a lot of discussion is going around now that there are going to be new variant walkers. Now, comment down below what you guys think about that, because I haven't really gotten any information about brand new walkers in Daryl Dixon Season 4. I mean, it is a given, right? Because Daryl Dixon is the one spin-off that really introduced variant walkers. You could technically say Dead City with the mutated walkers and stuff like that, the sewage ones, and also with the ones who live with the rock hard walkers, the rock hard skin ones. But when it comes to true variants, and I'm using that term very lightly because a true variant, we saw that in the World Beyond post-credit scene, and that was also in France, aka the running walker. And now these running walkers that were introduced in Daryl Dixon were injected with the serum that made them run, but yet again they behaved differently than your normal walkers. And so far, Daryl Dixon Season 4 has been awfully quiet, right? I would have been expecting a teaser by now, but we didn't get anything for Daryl Dixon Season 4 and also Dead City Season 3, right? We did get some behind-the-scenes footage and stuff like that, but it's not really telling that broad of a story. So I believe that we're gonna get some sort of teaser for Daryl Dixon Season 4 in the next month or two, right? Because that is going to be the first season that's gonna come out right before Dead City Season 3. And then we'll get into the Dead City Season 3 stuff. So my guess here is that Daryl Dixon Season 4 is going to come out within the next month or two. Now, again, when it comes to walkers and other information about this show, I really don't know much, and I would have to really do some research on it. But from what I understand, people have been talking about running walkers, and apparently the behind-the-scenes pictures and stuff like that for Daryl Dixon Season 4 has teased running walkers. Now, of course, we did not get any information yet, right? Any official news yet about running walkers in Daryl Dixon Season 4. But the question here is that, are these running walkers going to be tied in to Season 1 and Season 2, where you have to inject them with the serum, or are they going to be the running walkers from World Beyond? Now, people, of course, they mistaken and they get these two mixed up, right? That they're the same type of variant. They are not, right? In the World Beyond post-credit scene, we see that when the scientist does die, right, she gets shot in the head, and then she gets up and she starts running. Whereas in Daryl Dixon, you have to inject them with some sort of injection or some sort of serum that makes them into running walkers. Now, if they do tie this in with World Beyond, which I personally think that they should do, right? They have to pay off that post-credit scene. Then they could say that, okay, yeah, the World Beyond post-credit scene takes place after Daryl Dixon season 4, right? It's some timeline thing. They could retcon some stuff here because they've done that quite a bit, right? Not like timeline-wise, but they've made changes to the story and changes to their plans like so many times in the Walking Dead universe. So it is definitely possible that this could directly tie into the World Beyond post-credit scene, right? Maybe we might see Primrose and Violet in season 4 of Daryl Dixon, right? And we could finally get a follow-up to that post-credit scene in World Beyond, and then you could tie everything in a very nice way there. And I think that that's what they actually might do. They might just end up saying that, yeah, the post-credit scene from World Beyond, right? We didn't explain anything for like years, and the reason for that is that we wanted Daryl Dixon season 4 to end, and we are going to explain that this post-credit scene takes place after season 4 of Daryl Dixon, and this is after Daryl Dixon goes back to America, and then that post-credit scene is realistically the beginning of the crossover spinoff. That's what I think that they could do. I know that kind of sounds stupid, but comment down below what you guys think. Is it going to be the running walkers from the World Beyond post-credit scene, or is it just going to go back to the serum thing from season 1 and season 2 of Daryl Dixon? Now, the next thing for 2026 for the Walking Dead universe is Dead City Season 3. Now, Dead City has been mostly in the dark, right? And there are a lot of reasons for that. First of all, they got done shooting like a few months back, and I don't think they would have like a teaser ready right now. Maybe they do, right? Maybe there is a teaser ready for Dead City Season 3, and Season 4 is in the rumors to be a reality, right? I'm not sure how true that is. Maybe they might change their plans and they might make Dead City Season 3 the final season for the show. But so far what we know is that Dead City Season 3 is going to be like Negan and Maggie working together to get back Herschel from the Dama, right? Because at the end of Dead City Season 2, we see that the Dama and Herschel are working together, right? The Dama got Herschel on her side, and the Croat went his own way, and now there is a chance for Dwight to show up, right? And I think that this year in the Walking Dead universe, right, so like, for Daryl Dixon and Dead City, I think they might start connecting everything. They might start bringing fear characters. They might start, like, teasing stuff for Rick Grimes and stuff like that. So I think that because the crossover spinoff is very well possible for next year, I think that whatever is going to happen in this year is going to be teasing some Rick Grimes stuff. It's going to be teasing some crossover stuff. And I think that Dead City Season 3 is perfect to have some fear characters in there. And I think that Dwight is going to be one of those characters. Now, it is definitely possible that Dead City has a Season 4 and we have to wait another year until they get into the Rick Grimes territory and teasing and stuff like that. But I think with Daryl Dixon being the final Daryl Dixon Season 4 being the final season for Daryl Dixon, and Dead City on its second last season, potentially its last season, then they actually might start teasing some stuff. Now, I don't want to dive way too much into Dead City, right, because they haven't really released much about Season 3, but so far what we know is that Negan and Maggie are finally going to work together, right, and Maggie could potentially, actually work with Negan properly now in this season. Now let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of all of this, right? What's going to be announced in 2026 with like new Walking Dead news, and what's going to be actually fresh, right? And it's going to bring back hype into this universe. And there's been a lot of rumors and discussion about 2 more spin-offs and like just multiple spin-offs with like different characters, right? And it's definitely possible, but with the reception that the Walking Dead universe is getting, for example, Daryl Dixon Season 3 and Dead City Season 2 did not do that great, right? Because Daryl Dixon Season 3, I mean, personally, my personal complaint for Daryl Dixon Season 3 is that it really didn't move the plot forward. And Dead City wasn't really received all that well, right? Both spin-offs were not received well because it just did not make sense, right? It just seemed like that they were doing their whole new thing, and I don't think that they would really risk another spin-off with some B-listers, right? And I know that it's been discussed quite a bit that, you know, Aaron and Gabriel are gonna get their own spin-off, or the Commonwealth is gonna get its own entire show, right? So but I don't think that's possible anymore, right? You know, with The Walking Dead and like with the position it's in right now, I think they need to really move forward with the crossover spin-off. Now, do I want the Walking Dead universe to end this fast? No, I don't. I mean, I make content on the Walking Dead universe, but there is no other way for them to go, right? No, they need to start you know, bringing Rick Grimes back, right? No, they need to have some teases here and there, or some sort of announcement and within this year. And I think that 2026 is going to be the year that they're going to announce something related to Rick Grimes. I don't think we're getting another weird spin-off, right? Because if A-listers could not bring in the views that AMC wanted, right? For example, Daryl and Negan, those are A-listers, right? No, those are characters that are part of the big three, right? No, Daryl, Negan, and Rick. And if those characters could not bring the views that AMC wanted, what makes you all think that Gabriel and Aaron, or like, you know, Mercer and Ezekiel, like what makes you think that those characters are going to bring those views in? So I think that you know, this year, possibly Comic-Con, right, we might get some sort of announcement for a crossover spin-off. And now this has been discussed quite a bit on the channel for the past couple of years, but I think that this year we're going to get some sort of announcement at Comic-Con, right? Because there are a lot of proof and a lot of, like, you know, just stuff that's been going on that's been very weird at AMC, right? For example, I'm just going to start with the very start of like that fueled this rumor, and that's Andrew Lincoln's whole interview with BBC, right? You know, while like this was quite a few months back, Andrew Lincoln was doing an interview, and he did say that there were in talks for Rick Grimes to return in the Walking Dead universe, right? You know, like Andrew Lincoln did say that, like, you know, he's in discussions right now to come back into the Walking Dead universe. And then later on, we see that Scott Gimple was in London with Andrew Lincoln, and then we see Denai Guerrera was in London with Andrew Lincoln, and you could just say that, yeah, you know, they just came to meet him and stuff like that. They just probably came to London for some other stuff. Now, Denai Guerrera, right, you know, she had a picture with Andrew Lincoln on Instagram, but Avengers Doomsday, I believe, was shooting in London during that time, so you could just chalk that up to, oh yeah, so Denai Guerrera just came for the shooting of Avengers Doomsday to London, and then she just met up with Andrew Lincoln during her free time. But Scott Gimple, that's the main discussion point here, right? Because why would Scott Gimple specially go to London and meet up with Andrew Lincoln and have, like, you know, a dinner with him and stuff like that, if they're not discussing some sort of contract, right? If they're not discussing terms of his new contract, or just discussing that, you know, what we're going to do with your character in the future, right? Because I think that right now it's the perfect time to bring Andrew Lincoln back and to bring Rick Grimes back. Now, I'm just going to talk about, you know, back in like the days of The Ones Who Live, right? You know, when that thing was announced, when The Ones Who Live was announced during the end of season 11 of The Walking Dead, I think that was like the peak of hype for the Walking Dead universe, right? And why? It's because it's Rick Grimes, right? You know, if you all say that, you know, Daryl and Negan could handle their own and they could really, like, you know, move this universe forward, it, like, these spin-offs just proved it, that those characters, yes, they could bring in some viewers, right? You know, those characters are amazing. I'm not saying that Daryl and Negan are bad characters. I'm saying they're amazing characters. But you need to have Rick Grimes in there, because The Ones Who Live, like, you know, the viewers that show brought, and also the hype that Andrew Lincoln brought in, like when they announced his return, was unreal. Like, you know, you had to be there for that, because all the theories and all the speculation, right? You know, it was a good day for the Walking Dead YouTubers. It was a really good day for the Walking Dead universe in general. And until the release of The Ones Who Live, it was just hype, right? Everyone was excited for The Ones Who Live and what they were going to do with it. Yeah, you know, like the show, that's a totally different thing, right? You know, I have my own opinions about this show, and they're really not that great, but seeing Rick Grimes again after so long was a magical moment for a lot of people, myself included. So I think that this year, during Comic-Con, we're going to have Andrew Lincoln coming up on stage, right, with Norman Reedus and with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and they're going to announce some sort of crossover spin-off, right? And I'm not saying that like just make it like a 1-season spin-off with like 6-7 episodes. No, like, you do not do that. You have to make this a multiple season thing, and they have to make it clear that it is a multiple season thing. And then throughout 2026, right? Like I think Comic-Con is in June or July, so you have a whole like half of the year to promote this crossover spin-off, and then possibly March 2027 you have the release, or you have some sort of teaser for this thing. And I know that the past couple of Comic-Cons have been a very big disappointment, and I know that every Comic-Con I always make a video that oh yeah, Rick Grimes is coming back. But this year is different because you have Scott Gimple also, him meeting Andrew Lincoln himself teasing some stuff, and also some very trusted industry insiders saying that there is going to be a crossover spin-off, right? For example, Daniel RPK, he did release some sort of scoop that there is going to be a Walking Dead crossover event within this year, or I think next year. But it is going to be very soon, and Daniel RBK is a very trusted industry insider, and personally I do believe him, and I think that this thing is a 100% possibility, right? Like, this is going to happen, and this is going to pay off what we've been waiting for ever since the finale of season 11 of The Walking Dead main show. And now, are they going to announce season 4 of Dead City during Comic-Con? I don't think that they are, right? And of course, yet again, like my point from before, they need to get the fans on their side, and I think that just an announcement of Dead City Season 4 is going to be extremely underwhelming, and I wouldn't put it past AMC to announce the crossover series and also Season 4 at the same time, right? No, they're just going to say that, okay, yeah, Season 4 of Dead City is going to come out early 2027, and then late 2027 or mid 2027, we're gonna get the crossover event, and of course you're gonna see Andrew Lincoln in season 4 of Dead City, and also we're just gonna see Andrew Lincoln everywhere, right? Them promoting this thing and then coming out with multiple teasers. I think that that's how this year is going to go. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe, and again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it, and yet again, I apologize if my voice was a little weird, right? I'm still a little bit sick. I just took some NyQuil, so I'm just gonna be logging off now. And just comment down below, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that there is going to be some sort of big announcement for this year regarding the Walking Dead universe, right? Because it's been very quiet, right, for the past couple of months, so we do deserve some sort of news. But yeah, I would like to ask y'all to like this video as much as you guys can. It will get this video to a lot more viewers, and also it will bring the channel up, and it helps a ton. Thank you all for watching.